story begins in the office of Ultimate High School as teacher Lee hands the credentials of all the transferred students to the principal asking what they should do. The principal responds by saying that they have worked hard to get these students, so they should act before they get taken by other schools. In another school, we see Kang Hae-hyo getting punched in the stomach by another student while recalling how he was a normal student until middle school but is now a loner. As he is suffering from the pain, Dong-pal asks him why he didn't show up in the PC room, while the other student, Kwang-soo, says that he needs a beating since he hasn't been beaten up for a while now. Kang Hae apologizes to Dong-pal, saying that his mother caught him yesterday. Dong-pal becomes angry at him and asks him if he thinks only his mother is scary and not he. He then proceeds to grab Kang Hae's head while saying that he does need a beating. Kang Hae asks him to forgive him this time and promises that he will show up in the evening with the money. Dong-pal ignored his pleas, and as he was about to hit up, an announcement happened calling all three of them to the school gate. Kang Hae gets relieved upon hearing this. Dong-pal gets surprised and wonders if there is a camera in the bathroom as they called only the three of them. He wonders why they are called to the school gate instead of the faculty room. Kwang-soo replies that he will find out once they go there. Dong-pal tells Kang Hae not to say anything to teachers, and Kang Hae immediately nods. Dong-pal then says that they should act like close friends now so the teachers don't get suspicious. At the school gate, teacher Lee is waiting for them, and when they arrive, she asks them to get on the bus. They were surprised as they did not know her and asked why they needed to get on the bus. She answers that she will tell them once they are on the bus, and that this matter has already been discussed and agreed upon by the schools and parents. Dong-pal remarks that it must be a field trip while getting on the bus, but their happiness is short-lived as the bus is filled with hooligans and troublemakers. One of the boys on the bus called Dong-pal fly shit and told him to be next to him, and while holding his neck, asked him if he used to be a weak kid in middle school and now he is the king in this shitty school. Dong-pal nods in response. Kang Hae is surprised as their school king is unable to do anything there, and he is too nervous and cannot ask any questions when even Kwang-soo and Dong-pal are not saying a word. He wondered where this bus was heading while being sandwiched by two strong, muscular guys. Teacher Lee greets everyone and starts to explain to them the reason why they were all on this bus. She tells them that the problems regarding school violence are quite serious. As she was explaining this, a few of the students started laughing while saying that there are a lot of problems because of idiots and today's youths are bitchy. She continues and says that the school district wants to solve this problem, so they rounded up a bunch of poisonous mushrooms like them and created the Ultimate High School to make them better people. The students became angry upon hearing them call poisonous mushrooms and shouted at them why she thought they would follow this trashy work. She calmly replies yes, saying that since they got on the bus, they have no choice now. They got up from their seats and told her to move aside, saying that they would leave the school, but all of them were left shocked, as when they looked out of the window, they saw the sky, and they all shouted at once that the bus was flying. We see that the bus is being carried by a helicopter in the air. Kang Hae contemplates that the Ultimate High School makes sense for the other kids, but why is he on the bus as well? Teacher Lee thanks them for not leaving and coming here together. She then congratulates them on joining the Ultimate High School. In the sky, we see many buses like theirs being carried by helicopters heading towards an island. Upon landing on the island, as Kang Hae walked around, he bumped into a blonde guy and immediately apologized, and the blonde guy warned him to look where he was going if he did not want to get beaten up. Kang Hae nodded and apologized. He contemplates that this place is too dangerous for him and how did he ended up in such a scary place. After a while, one of the helicopters landed at the nearby cliff, and from there the principal introduced himself and welcomed them all to the Ultimate High School and congratulated them. The students started shouting at him, and there is nothing to be happy about here, and demanded that he send all of them back to their homes. He ignored their shouting and asked them if they are hungry, and then after a while tells them that if they want to eat then they should come to the school, and the helicopter flew away with this. All the students were shocked at this, and one of them started to run towards the ocean while saying that he does not care if he has to swim, he will return home at any cost, but is shocked to see a shark, and they all realize that they cannot leave here. One of them remarks that it is impossible to leave and the only way to eat is to find the school. They all started to walk through the forest while cursing. Meanwhile, Dong-pal and Kwang-soo were wondering where Kang Hae was, as they had not seen him since landing on the island. As they were talking to each other, the guy in the cap shouted, telling them to go with him. They both immediately nodded and started to run toward him, and Dong Pal cursed that he would kill Kong Hei once he saw him. Kong Hei, seeing all this unfold while hiding behind one of the bushes, lets out a sigh of relief once they leave and remarks that he should be careful not to be seen by them, as they will beat him up. He contemplates that he does not know the reason why he is here, but he has to get out of there at any cost. As he started to walk away, someone called out to him from the bushes, asking him if he had a tissue. Kong Hei replied that he did not have it and started to leave, but that person shouted at him, saying that he had seen his face already and that if he tried to leave, he would find him and kill him. Kong Hei immediately plucks a leaf and offers it to the person, who in turn shouts at him that he is trying to find a hamburger in the Stone Age. Kong Hei then offered his socks. The person yells and curses at him, saying that he is probably someone who eats from the toilet, and later Kong Hei's uniform is ripped for him. After a while, a girl walks out of the bush and thanks him. Kong Hei replies that he is happy to help. The girl then tells him that his uniform is in the bush so he can either throw it away or wear it, and she then tells him that she recommends throwing it away and then leaves. Kong Hei was left speechless on seeing a girl like this. Meanwhile, as students kept walking towards the school, the guy in front shouted while telling everyone to take a 10-minute break. But since all were tired, they stopped. The guy in the cap stopped and remarked that there were all kinds of troublesome guys there. Dong Pal tried to flatter him and said that since he was strong, he would be the king for sure. The guy in the cap punches him in the face and tells him that he needs to know what kind of guys are around them. He added that these bastards are from top poor schools. They are reverse school thugs who are famous for just their school. While pointing towards a silver-haired guy, he said that he was the king of that school who took over the school of punks in his first year only. He then pointed towards a blonde guy in a hoodie and said that he was Myung in Haeyoung Suri, and he would beat up any guy if they gave him money, and he had never lost once. Then he pointed towards another guy, saying that he was Young Jinsan Haipin Hanul, and said that he is good at fighting, but since he is usually vicious, he only gets satisfied when he wins. He further added that there are even rumors that he went to a reformatory school. He then pointed towards several guys, telling them how strong they are, and said that this place is filled with monsters. He further added that there are probably about whom he does not know. He then says that to say he will be the king of all these guys. Dong Pal is trying to make fun of him, so he starts to beat up Dong Pal. Dong Pal started apologizing and begged him to forgive him just this once, and he said this as he did not know anything. The guy stops and mocks Dong Pal, saying that a loser like him would know nothing, so he will forgive him once. Dong Pal thanked him. The guy laughed and said that he was relieved that Dong Pal and Kwang Su were there. Dong Pal said to Kwang Su that they are screwed, who in turn said that they do have Kong Hei. Dong Pal then asked the guy who he thinks will be the king of this school. The guy, while thinking hard, says that he is not sure, but if he has to pick someone, then he will for sure pick Sambyul's 3-star leader. He said that that guy had control over that area's middle school as a preschooler, and he was scouted by gangsters. He further adds that it is said that when he threw a punch, dragons would come out of his fist and end it all. Dong Pal and Kwang Su were surprised to hear this and cheered that dragons come out of the fist. The guy then said that this person disappeared after middle school, and he added that if he was here then he would surely be the king of this school. They then asked what the name of this person was. The guy answered that his name was Kong Hei Hyo, leaving Dong Pal and Kwang Su speechless. Meanwhile, we see Kong Hei walk over to the girl, and he calls her a shitting girl and tells her to wash his uniform. She replies to him that she does not want to and if he is going to fight her for that. He contemplates that this place is full of monsters, and he cannot look down on her just because she is a girl, so he tells her that now he also thinks that he should just throw away his uniform. She then warns him that if he calls her shitting girl one more time, then she will kill him. She then tells him that they should now look for the school. She then picks up a baby boar while calling it cute. Upon seeing this, Kong Hei thinks that she is just like other female students. Just as he was thinking this, she suddenly lights a lighter and starts to heat the baby boar while saying that she wonders if it will taste good. Kong Hei shouts at her to let the baby boar go while shouting that its mother must be nearby. She glares at him while asking who he thinks he is, but just then a wild boar jumps out of the bushes, and they both start running for their lives as the wild boar chases them. The girl says that Kong Hei was right while running. The rest of the students arrived at the school entrance, and some of them were astonished by how the school was built in the middle of the mountains. The others started wondering where the food was as they had arrived at the school, but still no sign of food. Some wanted to go and talk with the principal. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, teacher Lee tells him that 2 students have gone missing. The principal asks her about who those 2 students are. She tells him that they are Kang Hae-hyo and Kang Hae-ri. The principal immediately confirms with her if she meant the most dangerous student, Kang Hae-hyo, and she responds. He then starts shouting while telling her to find them. He then contemplates that if Kang Hae does something awful with the female student, then it's the end for Ultimate High School before it has even started, and he does not realize that what he was saying has been relayed to all the students through the mic. After hearing this conversation, the students started talking about it, and they were all excited after hearing Kang Hae-hyo's name. Some started saying if he was the Kang Hae who controlled the middle school in Gangbuk District, then he was the most powerful candidate for king here. The guy with Dongpal and Kwang-soo started to praise Kang Hae. He told them how awesome he was. They both were sweating. Dongpal asked Kwang-soo if surely it could not be their lackey Kang Hae, and why would the 3-star leader be their lackey. Kwang-soo mentions that he may have wanted to lead a life like a normal student, which made them both freak out. Everyone kept cheering his name. The 2 guys from the 3-star school talked with each other about it. One of them said that it was so like Kang Hae to have a flashy entrance and started to get ready to welcome him back to the 3-star school. The other mentioned that he could finally get to know why he disappeared all of a sudden. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, teacher Lee comes back with Kang Hae's dirty uniform, which had been thrown away. She tells the principal that other than this uniform with poop, she cannot find anything else. The principal responded that it would be too late even if she did find them now. He tells her that he opened this school because he wanted to give all these punks a chance by letting them know that they can be bad at studies. But that does not mean that they are useless, and he wanted to provide them with a ray of hope, but it all ends now. As they were discussing it, they heard the students cheering loudly for Kang Hae-hyo. The principal immediately jumped from his seat, cursing Kang Hae and shouting that he would kill him. But once he opened the window, he was shocked upon saying that Kang Hae-ri was supporting Kang Hae to walk as they were coming towards the school. The students were cheering loudly for his name, and Kang Hae-ri was shocked to hear that his name was Kang Hae-hyo. Kang Hae, who was almost certain that he would be an outcast here and die, was shocked to find a welcoming atmosphere for him. After a while, all the students went to their dorms, and Kang Hae-hyo and Kang Hae-ri were called to the principal's office, where they told him that nothing happened, and the principal mentioned that he was glad to hear that. Kang Hae-hyo also tells him that he does not think that he should be here and that there has been some sort of misunderstanding. The principal replies that he understands and then tells them to go and rest in their dormitories. Kang Hyo went to bed happily, thinking that he would be able to return home tomorrow. But the next day, to his surprise, he was standing on the school grounds with other students, and he was also wearing the school's uniform. The principal then started to welcome all of them as students of Ultimate High, and then told them that he was proud to see them all in the school's uniform and informed them that classes had been set, so they should now pick up class monitors. The students immediately started yelling and fighting at this, and one of them took the lead and said that a study or a height contest would not do any good here. Also, it will make perfect sense for the strongest to be the class monitor. Teacher Lee gets angry at him, but the principal stops her nods in agreement and tells all of them to gather up in the gym as they will have the class monitor picking contest there. Kang Hae-hyo again approaches the principal and tells him that he thinks he misunderstood him yesterday when he told him that he should not be in this school. The principal replied and left. He started to show his gratitude to him. The principal contemplates how dangerous this guy is. He is telling such an obvious lie with such an innocent face. Just then, Dongpal and Kwang-soo came running towards Kang Hyo. Kang Hyo immediately panicked upon seeing them, as he thought that these two would kill him now, but to his surprise, they bowed down in front of him and started apologizing to him. They told him that they did not know that he was Kang Hae-hyo, the legendary fighter of the Gangbuk District. Kang Hyo finally understood what was going on here, why all the guys cheered for him last night, and why the principal ignored his words that he did not belong there. Kang Hyo remarks that everyone thinks of him as the legendary fighter of Gangbuk District now. He contemplates that he is feeling shit at this moment. He looked at Dongpal and Kwang-soo and thought to himself that these guys only bullied him because he was weaker than them, but he then decided to have his way now that he was the legendary King Kang Hae-hyo. He bursts out laughing in front of them and tells them he cannot help now that they know his real identity. He tells them that he will not feel good even if he blends them into a smoothie and drinks them. He further adds that he will forgive them once though, as he has a kind heart. They started thanking him and promising to pay him back for everything they did wrong in the past. Kang Hyo kept laughing and told them that they would have to, and now he would make them taste hell. Dong Pal then suggested that they should now go to the gym. Kang Hyo tells him that his legs are hurting today and he is tired, so he does not feel like walking. Dong Pal and Kwang Soo immediately understood their assignment, picked him up, and started to carry him to the gym on their shoulders. Once they arrived at the gym, everyone was shocked to witness such a scene. But Kang Hyo immediately regretted his decision. He thought that he dug his own grave and started to think of some way to get out of the situation. But by then Dong Pal and Kwang Soo started shouting while telling everyone that the Class 1 monitor would be Kang Hyo, and if anyone has problems with that, then they should step forward now. The principal was joyful at this and remarked that now Nag Hyo is showing his true colors, and no matter how cheeky he tries to act, he knows that he is the best fighter in all of the schools. Kong Ri was also shocked to see this. She wondered what this idiot was doing and contemplated that he was asking for a beating. Meanwhile, outside the school, two boys go over to Pai Han, asking why he is not in there, where all the guys are fighting over who is going to be the class monitors. He casually replies to them that they are not in middle school anymore, and he does not care about who is going to become the class monitor because if anyone bothers him, he will just beat him up. One of the boys then wondered that if Pai Han was not going to become the class monitor, then who would? The other guy replies that maybe Kang Hyo will become the class monitor. Pai Han was surprised at hearing this name, and he confirmed that they said Kang Hyo. They told him that he probably did not know since he went to a high school in the province and got transferred here. Kang Hyo was a well-known punk in middle school from Kongbuk. One of the boys tells him that he does not know because he was asleep, but he kidnapped a female student on just the first day of arriving here. Pai Han then calms himself down, thinking that he is not the guy from the middle school in Seoul, and remarks that he nearly stopped breathing upon the mention of his name. The boys mention that they should go and see the fights, as it will be interesting because all the good fighters from Seoul and the Gyeonggi district are here. Pai Han gets up and says that it should be fun, and he wants to see what kind of losers are trembling with fear. Meanwhile, at the gym, the two boys from the 3-star school were looking at all this. Then one of them suddenly tells his friend Yu Sang that he is going to beat this kid up as he is pretending to be Kang Hyo, who stops Choi Jang-woo telling him that they are only picking the class monitor at the moment, so there is no need to interfere and they will have all the time to beat him up, but first they should see what kind of guy he is. He says that they will not let go of the guy who is pretending to be Kang Hyo. Choi Woo asks if Kang Hyo really did not come here and complains that this is unfair as even a model student like him came here but he did not. Yu Sang tells him that he is probably not here as they did not see him. He further adds that it is weird to him as he feels like Kang Hyo is here. Teacher Lee complains to the principal that she does not feel that fighting is a proper way to select the class monitor. The principal asks her if she likes dogs and then tells her that he likes them and they are raising puppies. They always started to fight each other whenever they got the chance, so he brought a large dog who put all of the puppies in line, and there were no more fights after that. Teacher Lee did not understand why the principal was telling her about dogs and puppies. The principal then tells her that he has prepared something. As Teacher Lee was wondering what he had prepared, he heard footsteps next to her and saw a boy jumping while declaring that the Class 1 monitor would be him. Then another boy jumps who says that he will be the Class 2 monitor, and finally a third guy jumps declaring that he will be the Class 3 monitor. The other students wondered if someone was daring enough to challenge Kang Hyo. Meanwhile, the principal informs Teacher Lee that these are students of martial arts that he has specifically prepared as wild cards, and he compares them with dogs, calling all other students puppies, saying that these will keep them in line. The three boys who just arrived brought out several baseball bats, and two of them hit the one who declared he was going to be a Class 1 monitor with baseball bats at once, and both the bats broke. All the other students were left awestruck by this. The boy then proceeds to kick through a bunch of bats and break them all in a single kick, and he then stands in front of them and says that he will be his opponent. Dong Pal and Kwang Soo remark that if they get hit by that kick, they will die, and they say that even Kang Hae Hyo will be a goner if he gets hit by this guy's kick. Just then, Pai Han arrived at the gym and was left shocked. He exclaimed that it was the Grim Reaper. The two boys next to him were surprised upon hearing Grim Reaper and asked Pai Han what exactly he meant by Grim Reaper. They ask him that does he know 3 stars Kang Hae Hyo. He responds that are they telling him he is the 3 stars Kang Hae Hyo? He tells that he is the Grim Reaper Kang Hae Hyo. One of them asks him that he is not the 3 stars Kang Hyo but the Hell's Lion. He tells them that he is not part of 3 stars and he was number 1 in Daegu before he transferred, and he fought anyone and everyone alone and they all lost, and that is the reason he is called the Grim Reaper. He remarks that he is the reason he transferred to Seoul, but he never expected to see that monster here. The tall guy introduced himself as Park Tae-ho while standing in front of Kang Hyo and said that he was a specialist in martial arts. He started telling him about his life story and how he had lived in a men-only world till 1 week before coming here, when for the first time in his life, he met a female student on a blind date. But a day before his coming here, the female student finds out that he is a high school student, so she hits him in the crotch and warns him that if she ever sees him again, then he is dead. He blames Kang Hyo for all this, as the principal has asked him to lead all these students, and he has told him that Class 1 Kang Han Hyo is a special student. Park Tae assures the principal that he will beat Kang Hyo and become the monitor, but the principal tells him not to use violence and harm the student. Park Tae recalls all of the principal's words, and if they are true, then how is he supposed to subdue this monster without hurting him? Kang Hyo wondered why this guy was not hitting him. Then he thought that this guy also thought of him as 3 stars Kang Hyo, so that is why he hesitated. He then decides that he can escape this dangerous situation, and he just needs to act like 3 stars Kang Han Hyo. He starts laughing and mocks Park Tae, asking him if he is nervous and saying that he will give him a fair warning. Park Tae immediately starts boiling up with anger once he hears him laugh, and he decides that he does not care about the order anymore. Firstly, he is going to beat up the person standing in front of him. He then punches Kang Hyo straight in the face, which makes Kang Hyo fall, and then runs towards him, yelling that he wants to see which one of them is the better fighter. But Kang Hyo is not moving at all, and Park Tae remarks that it is the end already while laughing and says that the mission has been accomplished. All the students were surprised by this, and they started talking about how the 3-star leader lost like this, and some of them said that he was just a fake. The guy next to Pai-han asks him if he ran away from Seoul because of this loser who got knocked out by a single punch. Pai-han could not believe this, even though he had seen it with his own eyes. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo's heart started beating faster. He felt like he was going to die, but he felt calm all of a sudden, and he recalled memories of beating up several guys at once, and then he found himself standing in front of a truck about to be run over, and he suddenly snapped back to reality and got up. He stood up while wondering what those memories were, and the crowd started cheering once again. Someone shouted that there was no way that Kang Buk's ultimate legend would go down in just 1 punch. Park Tae also tells him that he was surprised, as he thought that he had passed out just from 1 punch. Kang Hyo wondered if he should be scared in this situation, but he was not. Instead, he is excited, and he is feeling confident that he can beat the guy in front of him. He provokes Park Tae by telling him to come at him and laugh. Park Tae immediately started running towards him. Kang Hyo thinks that since T had come to then, he will just go crazy. Kang Ri shouted from the crowd to stop and rush towards Park Tae while cursing him and saying that she had warned him that if she saw him again, he would be dead. Park Tae realizes that she is the female student he went out with and asks what she is doing there. She answered that she was here for school and told him that she went out on the blind date on behalf of her sister because she requested her to do so. Park Tae begins to guard his crotch with his hands while thinking if he gets kicked again here it will be bad. But Kang Ri jumps high in the air and kicks him in the head and then gives him a side kick to the face and finally a kick to his crotch that made him fall. The students started wondering who she was as she took down the big guy easily, and one of them wondered if she was going to be the class monitor of Class 1, but others said that Kang Hyo was standing so they would fight and the winner would be the class monitor. Kang Ri tells Kang Hyo to come with him, who unintentionally called her queen shit this time, and she got annoyed again and told him that if he calls her names again, then he will be dead. And they started to leave the gym. Others were asking how they could leave without fighting, but they just left. Teacher Lee asked the principal. Then one of the guys he boasted so much about saying that he would keep these students in line has already been defeated. The principal told her that it was because there was a variable in this fight, but there would be no more variables now. As the Class 2 guy, Pandol got ready and started to curse all of the students while challenging them. He was a national judo master, and anyone caught by him could not escape. The principal says that his only weakness is his loud voice and vulgar language. But then one of the guys from the crowd stepped forward, laughing and saying that he wanted to just watch from the sidelines, but the Pandol is too noisy. He mocks him and announces to every student that he will shut this pig's squealing. Pandol got extremely angry as he was called a pig. Meanwhile, we see Kang Hyo standing on the terrace while wondering what exactly those memories were. He contemplates that if he was a very strong guy like his memories had been telling him. He wondered if he could be the 3-star leader, Kang Hae-hyo. Kang Ri approached him and said that she saved his life, but she did not get even a thanks. Kang Hyo tells her that she did not save him, as that was his moment to stand up and step on the big guy. He tells her that he is only letting her go because she is a girl and says that he is the 3-star leader Kang Hyo. Kang Ri tells him that if he is going to lie, then he should at least see who his opponent is. She says that he is just spouting bullshit about 3-star and says that she knows he is just a weakling and the other members of 3-star are here and asks him if he is going to continue to lie. Kang Hyo apologizes to her, saying that he will not lie again, and asks her how she knows about all this. She answers that it is simple because she is 3-star leader Kang Hae-hyo. Kang Hyo was surprised at hearing this. She continues that he was probably brought here for having the same name. Kang Hyo finds it funny and thought that the shitting girl is 3-star leader Kang Hae-hyo, so he took a stance and says then he is Bruce Lee. She is surprised at this reaction and tells him this is not a time to be joking around, and she is serious about this conversation. She tells him that her father was the 4th generation of the family, having only sons and the head 5 daughters and no sons. After 4 daughters, he wanted to have an heir, so he wanted a boy badly, and he ended up naming her Kang Hae-hyo ahead of time. After she was born, she was raised as a boy, and by the time she entered middle school, she had already become the leader of the Kongbuk area. Kang Hyo says that the reason she disappeared afterward was because her hormones started working, and then her breasts popped and but filled out to make her all curvy. She kicks him and tells him to stop imagining it. She says that is one of the reasons, but the other reason is that she met someone who showed her the limits of a woman's body. Kang Hyo was surprised at this and asked her who this person was. She tells him his name is Seo Jun, and he is the Gangnam area's total number 1 boss. He is the guy who is standing in the gym staring down at Pandol and mocks him again, saying that is why the baby pig is waiting, and he shouts to start the fight already. Pandol thought that this young idiot was looking down on him as he was telling him to start the fight while he was still defenseless. He then decided to show him who is the boss by pinning him to the ground, lunges forward and grabbing his jacket, shouting that he got him. But Seo Jun immediately ducks and takes off his jacket and throws away Pandol along with his jacket, which leaves all the students surprised. He then calls Pandol an idiot for only building muscles and says that he does not know even the basics of fighting. Teacher Lee asked the principal if he cut all his hair. The principal replies that, of course, he is going to keep his promise. Pandol, while lying on the ground, thinks that since his opponent is strong, he will go for his legs. Meanwhile, Kang Ri tells Kang Hyo about Seo Jun, telling him that the guy has good fighting sense and is good at judo, jujitsu, and wrestling type skills. But she then continues that the most surprising thing was that he is even better at kicking some and knocking them down. She further adds that he had experience, skills, and monstrous strength, and she could not find a weakness in this monster at all. Meanwhile, in the gym, we see Seo Jun sidekick Pandol's face, then straight kick him in the face, and to finish it off, he gives him an upper kick straight at his head and puts him to sleep on the ground. After this, Teacher Lee teased the principal that he would have to cut all his hair now. The principal then simply took off his wig. Teacher Lee felt the need to cuss him as he was bald to begin with. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kang Ri tells Kang Hyo that, in a way, Seo Jun might be the strongest man in Seoul, since he is the one who showed her the limits of a woman's body. After hearing this, Kang Hyo climbed up the fence, which surprised Kang Ri, and she asked him what exactly he was doing. She tells him that it is dangerous there and he should come down. He tells her that in this place filled with monsters, he will just have to live with no friends and get picked on. So instead of going through all that pain, it might be better just to die now. Kang Ri calls him a loser for thinking like this and asks him if he thinks if he commits suicide then the people who did wrong with him will feel guilty. Instead, it will just make them believe that he was a loser. She then asks him to think about his parents and family. Kang Hyo asks her then what he should do in this place full of monsters. She tells him that he thinks every gangster student is a monster. They are just people like him, and she tells him that if he fights them one-on-one, then he will be able to defeat most of them. She tells him that she will teach him the technique to fight and how to defeat most of those students, so he should just get down from there. He then comes down and tells her to teach him the technique. She then tells him to go ahead and try to attack her, and she will only do defense. Kang Hyo asks her what if he hurts her. He further tells her that even if he hurts her during an attack, she cannot get mad and start hitting him back. She started laughing and asked him if he thought that he could hurt her. She tells him that there would be nothing like that, so he should hurry up and attack her. Kang Hyo then threw a punch at her, but it was so fast that she was unable to even see it. It hit her straight in the face and made blood spill out of her nose, and she fell to the ground. She was surprised as she fell to the ground and could not believe what just happened. She contemplates that she could not even see this loser's fists, and on top of that, the power of his fists is very strong. She feels embarrassed at this and gets up again and tells him to attack again. He tells her to stop, as he might really hurt her. She gets angry at this and tells him to attack. She gets ready for his punch while forming a resolve that this time she will not get hit and she will not be defeated so easily. She wondered why it was so slow this time. Maybe she just lost focus during the first hit, but out of nowhere, he kicked her in the stomach. She screamed in pain that this time it was not his fist but his kick instead. She shouts at him about why he kicked her all of a sudden. He replies that she told him to attack her and never said to use only fists. In the gym, the students were celebrating Seo Jun's victory. Some of the guys started saying that they had heard a lot about him, but now that they saw him in real life, he was even more amazing. Then Jung Sang-hyun, the guy appointed by the principal to be the monitor of Class 3, took a fighting stance and told everyone that he was the leader of this class, and if anyone wanted to try to beat him, then they should come forward. Meanwhile, Teacher Lee tells the principal that the cleaver plan he thought of ended up being a failure. He replies that he knows what she means, and if Jung Sang also loses, then it will be hard to control the students, and they will just have to keep an eye on them. Teacher Lee teases her that if Jung Sang also loses, then his mustache should also go, and the principal agrees to it. Just then the leader of Hujin Gong Hai, Kang Chul Pan, stepped forward and called out to Jung Sang, calling him a beanpole and telling him that he would be one facing him. The students were saying that beanpole must be unlucky because he was going to face Kang Chul. Jung Sang was getting afraid just looking at him and was wondering how a high schooler could be this strong. Kang Chul then tells him that he has a habit of nearly half killing his opponents so that he feels good, so if he does not want to die, then he should say so now and run away quietly. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kang Ri gets up once more and tells Kang Hyo to attack him again. Kang Hyo wonders when she is going to teach him the technique that will help defeat most of the thugs here, but then he decides to try it again, and he tells her that if he hits her again and she gets mad, then she cannot hit him back. She was all focused on his next attack and did not want to lose again, and when his fist came firing at her, she managed to barely evade it by an inch. She contemplated that this loser was not just an ordinary guy, and to make sure that her thinking was correct, she immediately threw a punch back at him, which he dodged with ease, which surprised her even more. But Kang Hyo started shouting that she said that she would not attack him, and he would have been hurt by her sudden attack. She paid no attention to his words and asked him who he was. Kang Hyo replies to her that he is Kang Hae Hyo, which pisses her off even more. She shouts that she already knows that his name is Kang Hae Hyo and tries to hit him with a roundhouse kick, but he dodges it as well. He tells her to calm down and reminds her that she told him that she would not hit him. She replies that it was when she thought he was just a loser and she started to attack him and shout to have a real fight. Kang Hyo dodged all her attacks and started to run away. She asks him why he is running away. He replies, what else can he do? As he was running towards the exit, just then he got kicked by Choi Woo. He and Kyu Sang arrive at the terrace, and Kyu Sang tells him that he does have a death wish, which is why he pretends to be Kang Hae Hyo. Choi Woo and Kyu Sang tell him to get up. Kang Ri sees them, so she frees them and says that it has been a long time since they last met, and they came at the right time. Both the boys started laughing and remarked that they must be famous as a brat they don't even recognize knows them. Kyu Sang tells her to leave, saying that they have something to discuss with this fake Kang Hae Hyo. She thinks that she should just beat them up, but then realizes that they are not recognizing her because they do not know her as a girl. Just then, an idea hits her, and she decides to figure out Kang Hyo's real identity, so she tells them that before she leaves she wants to talk with him. Kyu Sang tells her to make it quick as he is getting annoyed. She then crouches to Kang Hyo and whispers in his ear, does he remember how she told him that just because they are the top dogs it does not mean they all fight well? She then proceeds to tell him that she knows these two and they are total losers and would lose to little kids in a fight. Kang Hyo thinks that if the shitting girl is telling him this, then it must be true, so he decides to beat them up while thinking that he may be scared of the top dogs, but he is not scared of preschoolers. He gets up and tells them to come at him while calling them losers, which made both of them angry, Kyu Sang immediately comes forward, saying he does want to die. Kang Ri contemplates that Kyu Sang is different from Choi Woo, as he trained in Taekwondo and is very dangerous. Kyu Sang came forward to kick Kang Hyo, and Choi Woo remarked that he had lost it again. Meanwhile, in the gym, Kang Chul tells Jung Sang that if he does not want to die, then he should just leave and he is giving him a chance to live. Jung Sang thinks that this guy looks even stronger than Class 1 and 2 monitors, and he thinks that he cannot win even if he gives in everything he has. But he cannot back down now as it will hurt his pride, so he tells him to come at him. Kang Chul, while clenching his fists, says that it cannot be helped if he does not want to live. Jung Sang thinks to himself that if he gets hit by that fist, then he will die. But then Kang Chul tells him that they should arm wrestle like men to determine who is going to become the monitor. Jung Sang was shocked at this and thought that he might not know how to fight, so he decided to take his chance and mock him, calling him a pussycat and saying that he does now know how to fight and he just looks big and strong. Kang Chul got angry at this and immediately lunged at Jung Sang while shouting that he tried to be nice to him as he looked like a wimp, but it seemed that he just wanted to die. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kang Ri thought to herself that it had been a while since he last saw Kyu Sang's 4 consecutive kicks and remarked that average punks get knocked out at 2. But what will Kang Hyo do? To her surprise, Kang Hyo avoided the first kick by bending down, but she remarks that bending down was a mistake as Kyu Sang's second kick was a low kick right away. To her surprise, Kang Hyo managed to dodge that by moving backward and sideways. She remarks that he is not an ordinary guy, but she thinks that there is no way he can avoid the third kick as well. Kang Hyo avoided it as well, and she immediately panicked and decides that she needs to stop them now as Kyu Sang's last kick was a back kick, and if you get hit by it spot on then it will hurt like crazy, but all their surprises he managed to dodge it easily as well. But just then Kyu Sang sent a 5th kick as well. Kang Ri was shocked at this and remarks that this punk got stronger since last time they met, and Kyu Sang told Kang Hyo that he is a goner, and Choi Woo cheered Kyu Sang, telling that he was finally able to succeed in the 5th kick, but Kang Hyo easily blocked it through his guard, and they immediately punched Kyu Sang in the abdomen, which makes Kang Ri scream that this guy is a monster. Meanwhile, in the gym, Jung Sang noticed that Kang Chul's attack was way too slow. Jung Sho easily hit his vital spots in that time and knocked him out, and he realized that this guy only had a big body and strength and nothing else. The principal became happy about his victory, and teacher Lee remarked that there was nothing to boast about as they were making students fight each other. Jung Sang then took a fighting stance and announced that he would be the Class 3 monitor. The boy who was just calling him Beanhead now started to praise him and say that stance looked like a high-level martial artist stance and how he easily beat Kang Chul. But Jung Sung-ri was just laughing at it and remarks that Kang Chul would have been an even weaker bastard if he did not have his large body and strength, and he knows this as he fought and defeated him because he used to be a contracted part-time fighter. The boys next to him told him that it would be great to become a class monitor as they needed marks to get out of this school, and it would be easier to get them if they became class monitors. Upon hearing this, he declares that fine, then he will become the monitor of Class 3. While on the terrace, upon witnessing Kyu Sang get defeated at the hands of Kang Hyo, Choi Woo immediately rushes towards him while saying that he will see the end of him. Kang Hyo mocks him by saying that here comes the loser number 2, and he throws a punch at him, but Choi Woo dodges it and grabs Kang Hyo by the waist. Kang Ri remarks that Choi Woo is an expert in ground fighting, and he has conquered every ground fighting technique used in UFC, such as wrestling and judo jiu-jitsu. She remarks that Kang Hyo got way too confident after defeating Kyu Sang, and he let himself easily get caught by Choi Woo. If he manages to throw him, then it will be over. We see that Choi Woo is pushing Kang Hyo to the ground, which makes Kang Ri remark that it is over as he is falling, but Kang Hae Hyo balances himself on the ankle of one of his legs, picks up Choi Woo, and throws him away. Kang Ri was left speechless as she saw him flip Choi Woo from that position, and she again declared that Kang Hae Hyo was really a monster. After all the dust settles, we can see that both Kyu Sang and Choi Woo are lying knocked out on the ground, and Kang Hyo thanks Kang Ri, saying that now he knows that their scrubs are even here. She was left shocked as to how a nobody like him could be this strong. She goes up to him, grabs his collar, and asks just who the hell is he. Kang Hyo gets confused and asks her why she keeps asking who he is. She asks why someone like him keeps acting weak and fragile, and now that she is so close to him and looks at him, she notices that he has a fierce gaze. Kang Hyo simply said that he was weak, which made Kang Ri lose her brain. Meanwhile, in the gym, Jung Sung asks Sung Ri why he wants to fight him even after witnessing how he defeated Kang Chul, and tells him that his courage will only get him hurt. Sung-ri tells him that he already knows that Kang-chul is a weak bastard and tells him that his fighting style is too erratic and full of openings. Young-sung starts attacking him, but Sung-ri dodges all his attacks effortlessly. Young-sung still tells him that he cannot even hit him back as he can only dodge his attacks. Witnessing this, Teacher Lee asks the principal if the bet about saving his mustache is still on. The principal laughs and says that it will not happen, but if he loses, then of course. Just then, Sung-ri landed a punch at Young-sung's opponent, while telling him that he already told him that his fighting style was full of openings, and he landed another punch at his face and knocked him out. Seo-jun remarks that this hired fighter Sung-ri is not bad, and the principal immediately tells Teacher Lee what he meant. If Young-sung loses this time, then of course he will not shave his mustache. Teacher Lee curses him in her mind. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kyu-sang and Choi Woo got up again and got ready to attack him at once. Seeing this, Kang Hyo asks Kang Ri what he should do now, and even though they are scrubs, there are still two of them. Kang Ri gets annoyed at him for acting all weak again, but then steps forward and tells Choi Woo and Kyu-sang to stop and asks them when they started ganging up on one guy and if they should accept their defeat like men. They called her bitch and asked her why she was still here. She then calls them morons and asks them if they still haven't realized who they are talking to. She tells them that she is the friend they spoke of. She is Kang Hae-hyo. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo backs away a little bit, feeling relieved that she saved him. Upon hearing these words, Choi and Kyu-sang get mad and tell them that they should get her as well, and now she is also pretending to be Kang Hae-hyo. She easily grabbed Kyu-sang's kick, and while asking if he still had the birthmark on his ass, she threw him away. Then she jumped and avoided getting caught by Choi Woo and stepped on his head while telling him that he had still not taken care of it. They both felt really embarrassed at it, but then Kyu-sang stopped and told Choi Woo to look at that girl closely and remarked that the hair had been dyed and her style had been changed. The eyebrows have been trimmed, eyelashes have been added, and she got double eye surgery and finally the style of makeup. They both get shocked to death and scream now that she is their Hae-hyo. Choi Woo once again asked if she really was Hae-hyo. Kyu-sang told him that he had already told him earlier that he felt Hae-hyo was here. Kang Ri then apologizes to them for disappearing out of nowhere and says that they could understand it as there was a situation. Choi Woo replied that they did understand and asked that they did not know that he liked to dress up as a girl, and then he pointed towards her breasts. What did he put up there? And asked if he could touch them. Kang Ri got annoyed at this and shouted at them as if she would let them touch her chest and tell them that she was a girl. Kyu-sang then recalls that she had never once gone with them to showers or pools. Choi Woo further adds that the one time they managed to get her there, she sneaked away without going in the pool with them. He then panicked and shouted that it meant she had seen their naked bodies, and tells her that it is sexual assault. She then says that this is the reason she did not say anything to them back then, as they would not have thought of her as a friend if they knew she was a girl, and then begins to tease them by saying that as she recalls back then, both of them immediately shut her down, saying she does not need to recall anything. They then ask her about other Kang Hae-hyo and add that he can fight well. She then asked him to stop pretending to be weak and come forward, but to her surprise, he had already run away, and they noticed that there was a door on that side as well. She then shouts at them to go and find him, and it is their fault that he ran away, as they are the ones who interfered, and they all immediately went out to go find them. As Kang Hyo was walking, he got kicked in the back by Dong Pal, and Kwon-soo asked him how dare he lie to them and pretended to be Kang Hae-hyo. The blonde guy in the hat then came forward and told Kang Hyo that he would be their delivery boy from now onwards, but Kang Hyo told him that he would not be their delivery boy. Upon hearing this, Dong Pan came in front of him and punched him while telling him to close his eyes. Just then, Pai-han arrived there along with his minions, who were asking if that weakling was really the reason he transferred schools, and he called him the Angel of Death. Pai-han shuts them up and says that he only got knocked out because of the cheap, and the likelihood of him getting knocked out again is the same as him winning the lottery. One of the guys then tells him that his so-called Angel of Death is getting beaten up there while pointing over in their direction. As Kang Hyo was getting beat up by Dong Pal, Pai-han suddenly came running in front of him, punched him in the stomach, and sent him flying towards a wall. His minions called out the blonde hat guy Ma Chun-nam and said that he is still lording over worthless shits, and then told him and his minion to get out of there quietly as Pai-han got some business with Kang Hyo. They immediately nodded and wondered how Pai-han knew this weakling. While lying on the ground, Kang Hyo wondered who this guy was and why he suddenly attacked him out of nowhere and remarked that the punch hit much harder than Dong Pal's. Pai-han then asks him if something happened while calling him the Angel of Death, Kang Hae-hyo. When Kang Hyo heard the Angel of Death, he recalled some memories where he was beating up a bunch of guys, and while he was still confused, Pai-han walked up to him and said that he thought that his head got messed up in the accident and said that he never thought he would get this lucky. Kang Hyo thinks to himself that he remembers beating this guy's ass before, and he starts to speak that he thinks that he is, and just as he was about to finish his sentence, Pai-han kicks him in the face while telling him that is right, he is Pai-han.